Call the order,
Hear ye, hear ye.
starting with approving April notes, because we need a quorum, so their notes.
You want to do roll call first?
Oh, just who's here?
Yes.
Do people like, okay,
This is rare.
Carol, yes, roll call, Carolyn Grudinsky, voting member.
John Kim, voting member.
Ally Fowler, voting member.
Lori Line staff. Scott, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Scott Richardson, voting member.
We don't hear you very loud,
Yes.
Can you hear me?
little bit.
We can see you
Corey's
too
working
well,
on sound from his end.
but not hear you.
Okay,
Okay.
There,
Yeah.
perfect.
Good, good.
great. Scott
Okay.
Richardson, voting member.
Nolan Carver, voting member.
Dave Ori, member.
Nancy Scholes, voting member.
Donald O'Connell, non-voting council representative.
Okay. So now we will go through the minutes, notes. April notes for whoever was here. I was here.
They just need a motion to approve the April notes.
Yeah, okay. Who wants to make a motion? I guess there's.
I can actually approve them without by unanimous consent if there are no objections. Yes, when they're approved.
Oh, we can do that with the minutes too? Oh, that'd be much
So you
better.
just say by unanimous.
Very
consent,
fast.
Objections to.
Oh,
Oh,
that's-
good. And that's all of them, the agenda too?
Yep.
Like that.
And then you wait for an objection if there is none.
Okay,
Why don't you do like all three at once?
that's what I'm gonna do. So by unanimous consent, do we approve the April notes, the May minutes and the June agenda?
You just did that.
Oh, but,
Yes.
okay,
By
so we're good.
unanimous
So that's good. All right.
Can I just ask, if it's all possible to make it 2 pages?
Yeah.
Formatting or something, just so it's up in front and back.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
it's possible.
no, I could have done that.
But it does make good staff paper.
Yeah.
When you take it home.
I don't like to waste paper.
All right.
Just in time for public comment and any member announcements.
Announcements first.
I think the things I have to mention are already on the infrastructure agenda.
Okay.
Oh, I will say this, if there is, a new grant was released yesterday, which is intended to fund projects in development. So not planning, not feasibility studies, not those. It's only available to rural communities in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, and parts of Massachusetts. We fall in the Northern Border Regional Commission area, so we qualify in Washington County and as Montpelier, then a little more urban. But there are 3 to 5 awards up to 40,000 available. There is no required match. And they can be used for anything, basically, except buying a building. We're doing major renovations on a building, and they can't be used for like political means, lobbying, etc. But everything else is completely open. The application is very easy. The time period, though, is that they are due June 30th. And I know this because I'm the project coordinator and consultant for this, which is offered by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, and the Northern Border Regional Commission. So anyways, it's an opportunity that if anyone, you have to be in some kind of regional partnership to do something. So if Montpelier is doing something, if this committee had something in the works, it's not really for this committee, but certainly Montpelier as a city might have something in the works to apply for.
So like it wouldn't include putting up a covered bike parking. It'd have to be something the city's working.
If there's a plan for it, it's worth,
It's right
it's
there.
worth, it's worth looking at, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that's great, yeah. I'm not part of the jury, so
That's what I was wondering, was there
I
a
know.
conflict of interest?
I'm just letting you know about it.
Okay.
Does the NPO know about this?
Is the who
Does
knows?
the Central Vermont Regional Planning?
Yes, they will have been notified. Yeah.
And is there only one grant kind of award per community or?
You know,
Yes.
that is not defined.
Okay.
It's project
Right.
and the team.
Okay,
What's the name of the grant?
It is called the Rural Infrastructure Project Grant. And I will circulate it to folks after this.
okay, well, that kind of moves us into group bicycle racks.
Oh, can I,
Well, they're out of public comment.
Yes,
I caught my breath.
okay,
I wanna ask the committee to discuss, if not tonight, then soon, the mess that's being made with the poles. The survey is not complete yet for East State Street, and yet poles are being set even further into the sidewalk than they were before. So they're creating
Well,
inability to pass a wheelchair and a walker couldn't pass, you know, for instance. Because basically, we are ruining our walkability of our newest rebuild of a street prematurely when the survey hasn't been settled and the design is gonna have to be adjusted after the survey is settled. And yet the pole locations mapping, I don't believe was ever sent to this committee for review. If it had been, for example, in front of the barber shop or just a little bit up from there is where the underground communications cable from Consolidated emerge, climb the pole, and then continue aerial up to the college. They had to put an anchor in, so they dug up a huge section to put major concrete down there so that they could tie a guy wire to the concrete anchor. But that was this, at the very same time, having that section open, they could have moved the underground part over to the inside of the sidewalk so that it would climb the new pole and leave the sidewalk unobstructed. But this is just poor planning, sloppy work, and it's gonna be expensive. It's gonna cost us quality of life for decades to come. Now is the time to fix it. I sent a letter to the city manager and said, stop the work. I've asked Green Mountain Power, who's the engineer on the job? Apparently, it's a runaway train. And this committee is responsible for, to a degree, aspiring to clear sidewalks and walkability and passability for handicap and wheelchairs and we're losing it. And we need to engage and exert yourselves. Thank you.
Welcome. Do you
Thank
want to
you.
tell us who you are?
Yeah, I'm Isaac Pappert. I've lived here for my whole life and, yeah, just have some notes and some things to share.
Awesome.
Some crosswalks and stuff.
Isaac, will you spell your last name for me, please?
Pappert, P-A-V-P-E-R-T.
Thank you.
well, this is public comment, so
Yeah.
unless people wanna wait for
No,
a
no,
crosswalk.
that's-
then-
Oh, okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, so, I mean, as you guys all know, Red Hen moved in not that long ago. And I've been going a couple times, and I've seen a lot of the town has been going. And I kind of was sitting in front of it's like that window seat. I was watching people cross the road there. And it kind of struck me, first of all, at one time, a lot of older people kind of just like show up, they're not working, so they're like going in there, you know. And there was like 4 groups of old people who tried to cross that road, and there's just cars going back and forth. And you can't even see the crosswalk because it's
The paint.
of paint on it. So a little stressful to watch everyone like do that. And so I think like Shaw's intersection has that kind of click thing. I think it would be really smart to put one like in more downtown area where more people are crossing the road. I know there's like the crosswalk with the BP thing like further down, but I think just walking around is kind of
Dangerous.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like it's inconvenient to like have to walk to the end and then come back, wait. So like having something there, I think would be real benefit to all of us as pedestrians. So yeah, that's just kind of one thing that I've been. I mean, I was sitting there watching it happen. And I was like, there's someone's gonna get run over. It's a miracle that no one has like, maybe they have, I don't know, but I haven't heard of anyone getting run over that intersection or Shaw's one. But both those intersections are just not friendly to pedestrians. And it's like, what are we doing if it's a city and it's downtown and the one place where it feels like it should be friendly, it's not really. So And now the Red Hen's there, it's like a highway, like literally the crosswalk goes into their front door, so. Yeah, that's kind of that. Are you guys gonna go over the like Berry Street project that I think we're done? Okay.
We don't have Barrett Street.
We don't, did you have a comment on Bear Street?
Yeah, I mean, so I ride my bike around town every day and I've never used, like, I just avoid that street. And I think if there was a bike path on there, I did ride on the bike path a couple times when it was like the pilot, I don't know what exactly was
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
Last summer.
Yeah, pilot project, is it gonna look similar to that, or is it gonna be like,
It's gonna look like a shared use path, a very wide asphalt path between
Okay.
Main Street and the rec center.
okay,
So
are
the
you,
intent is to have a two-way bike lane there, but with a curb.
Not the plastic bollards.
so it's separated from the draft, what you're saying, okay, cool.
It'll be like a, what, a 10-foot wide sidewalk, but asphalt.
And it's like shared with pedestrians or?
Yep.
Okay, it's pedestrian. It's an interesting thing to like decide that sharing with pedestrians and bike, I know we're not like a big high bike traffic city, so it's kind of like. Makes sense, but so it is something similar in Burlington where they put the like, they just painted the sidewalk differently, like on Main Street. And it's like, I don't know, it's not working. No bikers are gonna be like, this is a bike trail, it's just more. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, I guess, I also just don't use like. I've talked to a bunch of people who ride bikes like on around town and they don't like. Maybe they will use that if it's like more, it's implemented and it's nicer, but I've just really avoided it and like. Cause the way it was earlier, like when it was a pilot project, it was just like. That turn onto like next to the rec center is like terrible, there's like a huge curve there, I went over and looked at our train tracks and there's like.
A big cavern.
Huge caverns,
Yeah.
and there's also like spikes there, like from a sign that someone ripped down, that's like, will pop your tire. There's just like a lot of
Oh,
things
yeah.
that probably need to like,
Metal is.
yeah,
We've
Yeah.
we've been campaigning for something to be done about the driveway, which is the bumpity bump.
yeah, I just biked over it, like, yeah.
It's, yeah. It's a difficult 90-degree turn. That's, yeah, that driveway and then the cavern. When you get to the railroad tracks, which I believe we. Prevailed upon V-Trans to fix once before.
Mhm.
So the asphalt, I guess, they.
Bubbled
did
up and
fix
like-
it, Yeah, like,
Yeah, that's what it looks like,
it pops out.
Yeah.
So, but that, it really is, has everybody seen it?
I bike over it all the
It's,
time.
it's
Yeah.
really, it's really bad.
you have like thin tires, you're kind of screwed.
It's bad, and,
Take thin tires.
I don't, do you know, Corey, who it was that we approached last time to address it? Would that be like Amy,
It's a combination. of
Amy
the city,
Tacko, should I
the
write to her?
railroad. The combination. We pave it and they do the trenching and do the channels and. all that.
Okay, so what's the next step to get that?
It's planned to be done with the Berry Street project, which starts next week, so it's on.
Which is starting,
I saw it July
Next.
7th, 8th.
it's starting next week, wonderful. That'll be fixed as part of that, that's great.
I also
The
have,
driveway and the railroads.
Oh, yeah.
oh, I also have a question, so like, that is one direction in town, but the other direction to like connect with like North Street and like the meadows, like there's no really bike friendly way to get between those two. And I live North Street, so I like bike over and I'm fine biking on the road, but going 20 miles an hour, that's what the cars do, so it's for anyone who wants to bike that, not like wants to ride fast, there's not really any way to get there. So I'm just kind of wondering if there's, like, there is that bike path for what's south, not south, but is there like a plan that works to like connect that part of town at all? to
I'm
do that?
confused where you're saying on
It's
North
the
Street connect
Elm
to the
Street.
Meadows? Yeah,
Yeah, so it's the meadows like to like the roundabout and then it is
Yeah.
down, like, is there any thing there?
in terms of a bike path.
Longer green for, okay, who's in charge of like making things happen?
May I mention that we have 2 available seats on the Complete Streets
Oh,
Committee?
but who's like, who makes who makes the calls and it's like, we can
City
do this,
council.
the city council.
Who's currently probably.
That was the representative to City Council.
Interest in biking ped,
Okay,
probably like a 20-year low point in terms of their interest in supporting biking ped. In that perspective,
why is that?
just the current composition of the city council is not particularly interested.
So, yeah, so it's beyond city council. And
You should definitely run for city council.
You should.
But
when
you can
they-
be on the Complete Streets Committee too, as
Yes.
a city council.
But the Elm Street is mostly a state road, so at some point in the next 5 years, they will repave it. And if the city had a plan that we agreed on to ask for a bike lane, the state would probably just incorporate a bike lane when they fix it. But the probability that we could get a plan in place and agreed upon by city council that adds any bike ped infrastructure was currently.
That's actually an agenda item.
Oh, sorry.
Follow up with Alec, you're actually David Corey,
right.
or that,
Oh,
that was something.
Related, but, yeah, so the Parks Commission and the River Conservancy, a lot of people would like to see Elm Street.
Safe biking
So that's
lanes.
getting a plan in place and what's council on board.
Okay.
The status quo is very strong.
Yeah,
The force
Kinda
status quo is very.
hard to move things, I'm sure, yes.
Just by coming to this meeting is very helpful, I think, actually. Could I just ask you to complete the thought of, you said you don't really use it now, you avoid Berry Street.
Yeah.
And your use in the future would depend on what the permanent cycle track on Berry Street looks like. But could you complete the thought of, if the Berry Street cycle track considers the turn by the rec center, considers pedestrian, could you complete the thought of like what it would take for that to be a more useful?
Yeah, for me, so
Yes.
because I'm not usually going the direction of the bike path, I'm going the like perpendicular to that. So there's no way to like turn onto that without having to like turn into a bunch of traffic. So it's that kind of, if I'm going towards Shaw's from Montpelier, trying to take that left turn on Berry Street to use that anywhere is kind of hectic, but that intersection particularly, because it's just like, it's a four-way essentially. And it's really hard to like turn into traffic like that. Like even for myself, I bike a lot, and so someone who's not as comfortable would not do that.
So having the intersection there painted to show that that lane is also a bike friendly lane, potentially where cars are already turning left and it's already difficult. It's difficult to know that there's two lanes there for cars turning left, but if there was paint markings that indicated too that this is also for bikes, would that?
You know, that's in my mind, it's always like a half measure putting paint down. It's like
Okay.
not gonna, it's not,
That's good to know.
cars don't really abide by paint, like.
That's what I'm a
Good.
huge
Yeah.
biker and that's, I take that turn every day.
But
and-
right now, that
But you're
center
right.
line
Yeah.
isn't there.
Is
That's
it, the center line isn't even there?
Right, so once it gets there, and
Right.
it's clear that there are two lanes, one for straight, one
Right.
for left, it makes it navigating it on a bicycle much easier. Just like in a car, much easier.
The good thing is cars are going slowly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
And that
Anything else?
intersection is in the,
Yeah,
you know, in the queue. You know, it's a huge project.
Yeah.
You know, because of the railroad and the driveways but it is in the city's master plan to be addressed.
yeah,
okay, so
with signal.
we have a bunch of things
Well,
related to, do we have an extra agenda to give
Oh,
out?
yeah. So Isaac.
Isaac, we have a
if you
bunch
can
of
hang
things
for the-
next that are related to infrastructure, so you might be interested in staying for that.
Yeah, I'll hang around, sure.
I got it. Here's
So
page three.
Okay, and let's make sure we can get through all of this if we can. Yes. By like 6:15, 6:20, right now. Okay. So update on the bicycle racks.
Okay, so the hoop bicycle racks outside Zutano Bohemian, so one was installed. There's a second. Any update on when that's gonna be?
No. We don't have any more.
You don't have it anymore.
We don't have any anymore. That was the last one.
Okay, there were two there though.
Do you wanna wrap all the bicycle parking into one
Yeah,
item here? Because I know and I was hoping you guys could catch me up with the conversations with my payer live and.
I,
um,
Yeah, there's both items. We can start with this one.
I thought this was a location on that list though that was provided.
so I brought the. Okay, wait a minute,
should have been that.
what are we talking about? What-
The Montpelier
I think
Live email
multiple-
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I guess that was you that wrote a list of all.
Where
different-
they
okay,
are.
Right,
Where they are currently
Right.
and a strong recommendation of where certain ones should be relocated.
right,
And so, but now I'm talking about, once upon a time, there were two hoop racks in that area by Bohemian Bakery, Utah. you know, I don't think either one appeared last year, but I knew that there were two. And so I lobbied, could we get them put back? And so I don't understand, there's just one there. I guess the other one disappeared.
Or.
Yes, that's
Okay.
the last one we have in stock. We have
Okay,
no more.
but there were two. And on the subject of missing racks, there were 5 meter hitches. When I walked around the city to take inventory of where the bike racks are, I could find only 4. The one that was on State Street, where I don't think the store exists anymore, but it was Minikin, remember that store? Is not there. And that's, yeah, so that's 2, you know, these aren't, they don't cost like a quarter. You know,
So
these
you
things
think
were like
two
$500 each.
2 missing pitches.
So, and on that note, if you've gone on State Street yesterday, Alec and the Parks Department are putting in brand new trees. I asked Alec, how much is the tree like that cost? For the city, 400 to 500, not including delivery. So those trees, they're beautiful, they're awesome, but they're urban trees. They're going to have a
Okay,
relatively
all right.
short life. My point is
Okay.
that a meter hitch costs about the same.
Right.
And has forever. So I just, as a committee, I would like to see us make good trouble in the sense of more noise for stuff that is pocket change for the city of Montpelier.
I just have a, I don't know if it's a dumb question, but why do the meter hitches need to be removed at all in the winter? Are they hindrance for?
No,
Oh, so where would
they're
it
year
go?
round. I don't know.
It's
I
really
couldn't
weird.
take it
What-
down.
What's Minikin out? I don't know what Minikin is.
So it
It
was
was Bohemian
on
Bakery, right?
No, it's
Oh, it's State
State Street, State
Yeah.
Street. So it was a store, I don't know what's there now.
Near the, it's not Subway, oh, Yellow Mustard.
mustard.
If we had,
Yellow-
if we had a printed map, we could
Yellow
look
mustard.
at it.
Right, so are those things gonna go on the digital map?
I have not, but I can make
Because
additional.
Katie Traps would like that.
I will do that.
So it's just, you know, I've been on this committee over 8 years. And it's frustrating because what doesn't cost much money doesn't happen. You know, talk about it, you know,
What is the DPW or the city's protocol? I'm asking this of Corey and Sal, for when infrastructure previously purchased goes missing. What is the process by which it is reordered and replaced? And or repaired? What is that process? What is the process?
First,
Corey
Corey
and
has to
Sal.
notice.
Right, but Nancy, no, this is a question for
I
Sal and
have
Corey.
I have no idea, I assume,
You have no idea what happens when infrastructure in the city is damaged and how it gets replaced.
none whatsoever, depends on the infrastructure, I assume that it's DPW related, DPW has it.
Corey. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the infrastructure, like the hitch. Now that I know about it. We could look at replacing, yes.
But the hoop, I've been talking about the hoop for months at these meetings.
Okay, but now we'll get it replaced, so
Okay.
we'll get that.
So DPW is going to,
Replace 2 units.
has been notified.
Okay, I'm sorry about being a nudge, but I need to know
No,
if
no,
I
no.
win. I need to know if I win. So it's
How long
before
does
I, before I
So the-
die.
Okay, wait, the tension here. I see you too. I see like you're a little defensive right now, Corey.
Okay.
What is the typical timeline for sourcing? I'm not asking you, I'm
I
asking,
have no idea. I can't say that. I don't know what the lead time, don't. It's been how many years since we've ordered?
Well, you asked me and I forwarded, or was it
yeah.
you too? I think I forwarded to the conversation.
So do we want to, I think the next question then is, do we want to replace the exact meter hitch? Or what is the broader conversation about bike parking that also needs to be had?
I'd like to, whatever.
Yeah.
I would think that it would be good to have all the hitches the same because people recognize that they're bike hitches, but this was part of a bigger, at least the emails, I don't know who they went to. With Katie, we were talking about replacing or having bike racks and talking to the owner at Shaw's and talking to Jesse Jacobs and checking about I think there are like 10 bike
On that
at
porch.
the old funeral home on the porch, so I-
32.
32, that's amazing.
Correct.
So I'd like to have the conversation about how we can really move on some of the bigger. Kind
And
of central
again,
sites,
Hanif, who left our committee, maybe
Yeah.
out of frustration, I don't know.
yeah,
But he also approached the owner, approached Jesse Jacobs to
Okay.
get those hitches. You know, they've been sitting there looking like candy.
and did he not reach Jesse or Jesse never?
You know,
I'll connect with him. I'm trying to remember from that email, which I have up, who was gonna get a hold of Pomo.
Pomerleau.
Who manages the Shaws. I mean, that's what I would think would be a big part of the conversation is getting some bigger bike racks that function. And you wrote the list
the
of,
thing about the hitches, they're not expensive.
right,
They, unlike a cheese slicer rack, okay, which is also a wheel bender rack, terrible design.
right,
It's an excellent design. There are 2 points of contact. You can put
Okay,
2 bikes on
okay.
it.
So do we wanna order more than 2?
Yes.
Okay, so where does that budget come from?
And what do we have to, what information do you need from us, Corey, to identify the
Location,
the product to source that from? Could it be the same as
The company
previously?
is Dero, Dero.
Right,
They are an excellent company with an excellent product.
a lot of research went into the original.
Yes,
purchase of
let's
these.
not reinvent the meter hitch.
so how many more, do we have a
I
number?
would
Previously had asked for at least 5.
We got 5, one is now who knows where. I don't know how something like that could go missing, but whatever.
Do they get removed then? Roger?
No,
They
No,
don't come down, they're galvanized.
um,
I would love to see us not be again and go for the nickel, but ask for 10 more. We could
Right.
easily use them. There's no downside to their placement.
do you need a formal request from the committee, Corey, to ask for?
I think you guys put in formal request every year, and it gets approved during budget season.
did you say doesn't get approved?
Right.
How do we move from it being a request of the Complete Streets Committee to being,
Infrastructure. fund.
yes,
We show up en masse at a city council meeting. Because, I'm sorry, guys, 8 years, this method is not working.
I could speak to this briefly. I sent a letter to the new finance manager describing how dysfunctional our capital budgeting is. These are 20-year lifetime devices you're talking about. They belong to be funded out of the capital budget. And I proposed how she needs to convene Public Works, Complete Streets, and the Planning Commission to create a capital budget. And that is the defining document, and it shows where the money's where it is time-wise and where the money, anticipated source of money comes from. That's one topic, is that, the other is, what I see is the need for an inventory process of our benches, because people complained to me that some of the benches didn't make it back out either. But barcode this stuff, it gets scared when it gets removed for the winter, benches and bike racks, the missing bike rack from in front of Bohemia. It gets barcoded and it gets inventoried and stored, and it's accountable to come back. Because if stuff is just disappearing from storage, we need to know where it's disappearing from. But that's a rational method to. Seasonal infrastructure needs to be inventoried before it's stored and inventoried that it's been redeployed. Thank you.
So as far as next steps for the bike racks. It sounds like you put in a request for these things and they don't get approved.
No, the
So
committee puts a request.
our committee puts in their request and then doesn't get approved.
Right.
So what do we need
Year
to?
after year after
Okay,
year.
okay, so what do we need to do differently?
Show up at a city council meeting and say enough. Like the whole thing about that Holly worked on, recertifying as a bronze level.
Right.
Hoo-ha, let's wave the flag. I'm sorry, BS. We got bronze level
Okay.
back in 2008.
So do we wanna get on the agenda of an upcoming?
yeah, that's one of
City council meeting.
the things too. Carolyn, is there anything else we want to mention about? Did everyone get the email forwarded that Montpelier Live is spearheading this conversation about
Have it here, but
bike parking?
it was a much bigger picture about some of the bike rack locations that we wanna have multiple bike racks and also. Some of the bike racks that are like available, like what's on Jesse Jacobs' porch, and can we use those?
And Katie at Montpelier Live sent an email around to everybody because they have heard that this is a critical need as well. So Katie sent an email to a lot of different parties who might have stake in this, like Complete Streets and others. And that email chain has been going around. They have been gathering resources of which we have offered what we have from the Complete Streets Committee, including the plan that's sitting in that envelope that the Norwich University students did. And I am imagining that Katie is putting something together and will come back to us, but we can follow
I'll
up
talk to Katie.
on that.
I can follow up with Katie.
I think the thing that we want as the Complete Streets Committee probably to state very clearly, Nancy, I might be paraphrasing you, is we are interested in practical bike parking, including covered bike parking, more than we are interested in artsy, less useful bike parking options.
Damaging bike racks.
Yes, and others have offered, Dayton Kreitz, a former member of this committee, has also offered best practices from his planning expertise. David, you would know this as well, from your background of basically just saying they would like to have Montpelier Live aesthetically would like to have everything match. Bike users don't necessarily care as much that everything matches so much as the thing that is most useful for parking the bike safely, securely is in place.
So what exactly is the ask of Montpelier Live?
I think, I just wonder, as a committee, are we all in agreement that the functionality of the bike parking options prevails over an aesthetically pleasing, less useful bike parking options?
Sure.
Okay, not all bike parking is created equal.
But I'm looking at, so Hanif never got back to us about what he learned from Jesse.
No, I emailed him, and
Yeah.
said, please remind me, this was so long ago.
Okay.
And I never heard back from him, so I don't know.
So we
where-
need to follow up with Hanif
Well,
for
I
the
mean,
racks
I
on
might
the.
have a phone number for him, but I didn't get a response.
Okay, I'm just thinking to follow up on what's already out there that we can at least, something like that might be able to quickly be put up somewhere. We talked about putting up some bike racks in the lot between Shaw's and the drawing board.
The issue with the bike racks, I think, is only storage. I don't think Jesse has any desire to retain those. I think he was storing them temporarily for the move after the flood.
Okay,
And my guess is he would be happy to no longer have them on the funeral home porch.
Hey, he was storing them for Hanif.
And he got them from the defunct Burlington Bike Share.
Oh.
And so there was no place to store them. So I
So
think
who
there was
owns
a place to store them.
Any,
Well,
for that project?
at one point, Hanif owned them. I think now it's a dubious as to who owns them, but my guess is if we had a place to store them, he would happily let us retrieve them and store them.
So why store them? Why not just
Why can't we
install them?
replace them?
Because they're. It's not for him to install.
but
That's right.
is that something DPW could help with installing them, let's say, between that lot, Shaw's and drawing board, and then storing them in the winter? In DPW garage?
So from my memory, Hanif had those earmarked for the. County or the bike share that.
Yeah.
Right,
this-
didn't happen.
It's a grant
And,
waiver.
well, it's still ongoing.
Oh, okay.
And actually at the time, I think I made some comments to like, oh, we could use those and he. The thought was he wanted, that's what they were gonna use for it, he didn't want them
right,
being used for something else and not being available for the bike share.
got
Maybe that's changed.
it. So we need to get an update from Hanif.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, question number one, do you still, are they yours?
Yeah.
And number two, do you want them? Or would you be willing to donate them to the city? And I think if both answers are yes, then we could follow up next month with some type of action plan.
And who's gonna follow up with him? Do you want me to? or-
I spoke to him yesterday and the way the Country Club Road came down, he's disgusted and disengaged from all city business.
He'll
He'll respond to us. Do you want to write to him, Carolyn?
Yeah.
I would. Well,
You
I
want to-
got no response to an email, so I was gonna suggest.
Oh, his number, yeah, okay. I have his number. Should we, I can go ahead, who did not get the email from Katie at Montpelier Live, I can forward that to everyone.
I'll just say I will commit to by next month digitizing the list that Nancy came up with and sending that out.
Digitizing
The
meaning,
list of current bike racks that Nancy assembled.
Putting them on the digital map that he created
okay,
of, resources that are in Montpelier.
okay.
Some people are parking perpendicular to the curve with those bike racks, and that needs to be discouraged.
So,
Um,
so on my email, which you all got, I said that one of the hitches, and I identified which one is now twisted. You can move it. You shouldn't be able to move them. When they're installed, they're supposed to be parallel to the street. So the bikes get locked parallel to the street. If it turns perpendicular to the street, the bike sticks out beyond the curb.
I think you were talking about, were you talking about these ones?
Yeah, I'm just talking about meter.
No,
hitches.
so
Oh, the knees,
Yeah,
okay.
so if that one, could be tightened, which, I'm sure the
set screw.
DPW has the tools to do that, then the bike could not be put on the wrong way.
Okay, so request to
Which one is
tighten.
Might as well tighten them all, but this particular one,
I said, let's see, I said it in my email, I believe. Oh, no, this is the email about trash and recycling receptacles.
do you know which one you saw people parking
Well,
that
I
way?
don't know that it was because it was spinning. I think it's
Oh.
bad habits and
Oh,
sidewalk obstructions and sandwich boards need to be dealt with.
So I'm leaving this at meter hitches need to be tightened by DPW,
One,
or all of them, have they all? been
well,
checked?
I tested all of them as
Do
I
you
was,
think you're strong enough to test those meter hitches?
Yes. I do.
Okay, we don't know which one though.
Well, it's in my email, but I
Okay.
don't have it in front of me, but you guys do.
Okay, well, 610 and we've only gotten on 2 infrastructure, so.
That's why we started with infrastructure.
Here's what,
Yes, trash and recycling. Oh, wait, so, I'm gonna follow up with Anif, we're gonna tighten the. Whatever the single ones and,
David is gonna add the current bike racks to the.
okay. And I'm wondering too, just as far as moving, if we were to move the bike racks that are over by Jesse Jacobs porch, who owns that lot?
City.
It's the city that owns it, okay,
it's available for sale if you're interested.
yes,
That's
that's
been
just
for
what
a
I
really
wanted,
long time.
okay.
Yellow mustard, it's you don't need a ditch, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, for looking that up.
Okay, so
The yellow mustard.
are we ready to move on from,
That's one that needs title.
I-
The one that's missing,
No, I said Minikins.
Minikins.
There were two on.
I said yellow mustard is Minikins.
Well,
No,
no, it's
Adjacent.
it's next to it.
Minikin is the one that was painted pink.
It's no longer a business. It's
Basic.
okay, it was.
So not yellow mustard, that's not the one that's missing.
No,
and that was
Yellow
the
mustard
chocolate
is one
store
that
before.
tightening, I guess the
Right.
other one. Was near yellow mustard, but.
There were
we should give
there
them
were
names.
two on state that were spread out. They weren't right next to each other.
Okay. There could be too many on State Street, so the second one on State Street.
On that side.
Okay.
Trash recycling.
Yeah, let's,
Okay.
let's do that one.
So I did send an email to Corey and Zach and Katie about where trash and recycling receptacles are located currently. And this is part of our purview because it's considered street furniture. And I said it would not be a big deal if you take this one, like there were places where they were really close together. And then relatively speaking, and then a long stretch of state or Maine where there wasn't any.
Okay,
So I said, I recommended certain locations where one could be taken from here and moved there. And I was very exact about take it from here, move it there. And then there were a couple of places where we actually would need to add. So that was in a memo that went out May 8th. So, other than walking the city, looking at where they are, looking at, and as somebody who goes out every Tuesday with trash tramps, I know where
You're the expert.
they're needed.
right.
So I'm hoping that, that has an impact.
And is that a DPW assignment to move the trash cans, or do we
As far
need
as I know.
approval from city council, or,
No.
I don't know, okay.
City manager.
Nancy, did you send that as Citizen Nancy or Trash Champs?
as citizen, or perhaps, no, probably as a member of this committee,
Okay,
because it's street furniture.
okay, got it.
So that's been requested.
And if anyone, yeah, May 8th, if anyone wants, if you all want a copy of this, I'm happy to forward it to you.
Yes,
But
Yeah,
it
it'd be
was,
good to have that for the
okay,
records.
happy to do so.
great.
So is that something then that DPW can follow up with?
Yeah, I can see, what Zach is doing. I think you included Katie on that too, right?
Mhm,
So that's another thing that they're like incorporating into that's why they asked about bike racks too. I think trying to come up with some sort of plan for this stuff.
Yeah, and I actually think that the opening of Red Hen on May 1st moves the needle on this. Because there are so many bikes now in front of Red Hen, and suddenly people are noticing, oh, there's lots of bikes on the sidewalk, oh, there's no place to put them. That is something that really pushed this over the hump, I think.
Can I just ask a question? I don't remember how many years ago, but somebody bought a parking space and and it was right by Red Hen and they had a bunch of, it was all bike parking. Do you remember that?
Oh, there was, well,
It was a parking space that was used. They set up a bike rack, they had the whole tool station, and they did it for one summer. 5 years ago, maybe,
I remember this
and it
too.
was right by Red Hen.
I am curious how one buys or reserves
Oh, you
parking
pay.
space.
You pay for all the
It's
parking.
like when the
Okay,
place is
So
set up,
what you
like
do for free.
okay,
in front of Three Pennies,
Yeah.
they
The
pay.
restaurant.
To
okay.
have an outdoor park, to basically take out 2 or 3 parking
Okay.
It's
spaces.
a good time to bring that
What?
to the attention of the city,
Parking meters.
because, you know, the whole parking.
That's when you can not pay.
To,
Okay.
When we did the.
And the
That's-
parklets
that's
are
buck out.
being deployed at no
That's the.
cost to the merchants.
parklets that are deployed
Just
to
trying to get
summer,
my bearings clear.
or, I mean, part of that, that whole program.
Oh, that's.
Are
what I want. That's
we-
what
I don't know that we haven't asked
Yeah.
Sal. I was trying to understand. I've noticed that
Wouldn't it be
Parking
nice
is
to
always
have one
a-
of those bike racks?
parking is
Parking
always
space.
the reason why we can't have better bike infrastructure in the city, but then I see.
It's very problematic, I mean, it's.
But then, I will say this, but then I see. You know, a dozen parking spaces bought up by one single entity on stone cutters. And I no longer have a place to park when I go to the dentist, and I'm like, hey, what's happening? Why is it that we as a city freely give it, like, we allow parking to be privatized? But we will not let parking spaces work for the public. It makes no sense to me, so that's why I asked. There are city meters in all of those places that now have a sign in them that says this is Capital Partners or whatever that venture capital or whoever they are.
Maple Capital.
Maple Capital, they have like all of the parking spaces now, and I'm like, but we can't have bike infrastructure because parking is. It's the sacred cow of this town.
So I'm wondering how, what we need to
It's
do.
but it's going to be reviewed, so, I mean, it's been a problem for a while, really, and especially since the flood. And it's not, it's not paying for itself. I mean, the main objective, as I understand it, is to make sure that there are places for people to park. Who want to use the businesses, the local businesses, so that cars that are parked there all day are prohibited. That's the whole point of the meter, is that you can go in and you need to move so that someone else can go in. But it's not working. And I don't know how people buy places on stone cutters,
Corey,
who is it, I have no idea.
isn't all that property private, am I mistaken?
It is, yeah, it's not city property.
Why are there city meters then? On
I
private
think,
property?
I think the city may be actually like, at least something that with the property on it.
That's what they do to everyone.
But-
Wait, public right of way is privatized,
It's not,
so that's,
it's not a public.
alright,
we have a
we're
public
off
thoroughfare
topic,
agreement.
storm drain stencils.
Okay,
Can I
so,
just sell for a 10-second nutshell? You don't need to wait until next year's parking study to ask for a parking place and put 4 of those Jacob's Green bike racks in it. In central location.
I'm wondering if we can piggyback that onto the parking discussion that city council is going to have.
Yeah,
We're talking, right?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
bike
but
Parking.
I'm saying don't wait,
he's right, just.
ask for a parking
Ask for a
place.
parking place to do that,
Okay.
or a couple, wherever you think that.
So in other words, we asked city council. Who do we ask?
City council,
Well, the council ultimately has to approve it, I guess,
you and Kelly can put it on the agenda.
And it was in front of Red Hen when it was up, so I think that's kind of great location.
It is.
I will say those greens are very, so. that's my
But they're visible,
Consideration,
but they're visible.
I hate the Montpelier a lot.
They fit right in a TD bank or whatever
Right,
that.
right. It is that color green.
On brand.
Yes.
But I need to follow up, I'll follow up with.
Are you having fun yet, Isaac? It's like this all. It's even more fun sometimes.
There.
All right, so we're done, we're on storm drain.
Okay, so storm drains, so I don't know if any of you clicked on the link. But there are at various intersections. One example is Liberty and St. Paul, another example is, I believe, Liberty and Loomis. But what are those, what's the name of those plates, Corey? That have the bumps on them that, are felt by someone with a blind person at an intersection.
The detectable warning. Detectable warning surfaces.
That's what those plates are called?
Yeah.
Detectable warning surfaces, okay, well, they get snapped off by the snowplow. So I sent David, when you were chair, you attached. You put in a link to the photos of those, some examples of what I'm talking about. And I'm just wondering, are there plans to replace them? Because there are pieces of them leaning up against trees or just no evidence of what was there, but except the partial one that's still there. You don't know what I'm talking about?
Are these photographs or handicapped?
No, that's a separate. Oh, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, I skipped over storm drain. Yes.
Oh, I was wondering what the relation
Okay,
was. to-
sorry. All right, storm drain stencils. There was a link to photographs when David and then Carolyn sent the agenda, which shows stencils. These were photographs taken when I was in Florida. There's a stencil above the storm drain that says only rain down the drain. Once upon a time, Montpelier had stencils around its storm drains.
Right, but they had that for years. I
Yes.
remember those.
And they're gone, and I just think.
Right.
It's a public education thing to have something like that, because people don't realize when you throw a cigarette or whatever down a storm drain, it goes directly to the Winooski. So you're not, wherever you think you're sending it, like to the landfill, no, it's going into the river. So these are, it's the cost of paint, right? That could even be a
Well-
thing that a school class could design the stencil.
I'd be interested to know why, I know that was happening for many years and why it was discontinued. So I don't know, is that a DPW or does like Friends of the Winooski do that? I'm not sure if it's even something the city did, it might have been.
I'm guessing it was individual people, I don't
Friends of
know.
the Winooski.
Just
Well, when I email Tasha about the Elm Street, I will also ask Tasha about
We
this.
should also ask, I think it would be Friends of the Winooski as opposed to,
She would,
she would,
she would
yeah.
know.
So-
She's a friend of the.
So here's the question,
I
if
think it was Shell Brook too.
if she has some history or whatever, if some concerned citizens wanted to create a stencil, put it down by the storm drains and paint it to say only rain down the drain, we could just do that. We don't need the city's permission. There's no body to go through.
Unless the trash can spray over it.
Well, look, I say, let's find out the history of that. Check with Rivers Conservancy and Friends of the Winooski River and find out.
You're gonna
Why?
find out the history?
You're the only one who removes graffiti in town.
That's what I meant.
Okay. All right, now, do you wanna do the broken?
Where did you say the plates were? The Loomis Liberty, that was.
Oh, well, there's broken one at St. Paul and Liberty. I think Liberty and Loomis, like the photographs. were included in the agenda, some examples, I mean, there are numerous instances.
Yeah, I know, I'm just thinking, I'm just want locations.
Okay, well, I can,
So how about
I
we
will-
follow up
I
with,
will, I
you'll
will,
send Cory
I will
locations.
email
Okay.
Cory locations.
I just wanna keep them moving.
I understand.
6:25. Okay, so that's the follow-up. Crosswalk painting, condition of sidewalks.
It's not a sidewalk across from the school got painted.
Yeah, they
Yesterday.
all seem to be getting painted now.
I think the schools are done.
Main Street Middle School was just done.
Are there any other updates, Cory, on crosswalk painting?
Hoping, I think. The nighttime temperatures are starting to get where they should be, so I'm hoping. We'll be out there and wake up in the morning, I'll be up.
They can't start painting crosswalks until the nighttime temperatures are warm, so once they do that, then a relatively small crew makes their way to the city, so it takes. I see. Several weeks.
Well, that's not to be more.
School Maine got that today.
Or it's
There was a
here,
lot of.
it has to be
The last.
around 24/7 above 50 degrees.
The same and the surface.
Okay,
Well,
But this is something we discuss.
so
every year.
that's happening.
Yeah.
Phase.
So I think we can pass that. Condition of sidewalks. Are there any updates on that?
I would just ask Cory if there is a pavement list. A paving list for the season. And maybe Carolyn, if you could just leave that on the agenda so that I could follow up with the gentleman who came. Even though I understand doesn't communicate via email. Thomas Weiss.
Oh.
I'll find Stephen and try to find Thomas and communicate back to him which streets are being paved in case there is. Something we can do about the drainage after the fact.
So you raised the crosswalk at, in front of the guest house on School Street as being collecting several inches of water in the crosswalk.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
Both
I know
ends of
Stan
that,
was-
both ends
yeah.
of that crosswalk.
Right.
after it was repaved, but I think just proactively, if we had the list. I could let Thomas know, I could walk there and we could just see if there was anything that might. That we could at least let you know might be problematic.
I think Evelyn put out a.
Oh, she had it
I
out.
think so, yeah, I thought I had sent it to.
Okay. Well, I'll make a note to remind you and ask Evelyn.
Could this committee take on the role of collecting public input and mapping it on priority hazards on sidewalks and curbs and storm drains? I think it would be a good PR move, and it would help this committee could help DPW prioritize remedy.
So are you thinking like a front push forum post request?
No, I'm thinking it.
Ongoing survey.
Website, part of the city's website that y'all manage and design, and the data is collected and dumped into a database. Evelyn has the tools to do that.
I think the thing about that is we have an existing,
We don't need to discuss this, we've been down this road, we have an agenda, let's go through the agenda.
I just wanna mention that we have, DPW has a tool also for people to report things to. The thing is, we don't necessarily see those reports unless it would be helpful if they're shareable. That we as a committee could take into account what's being sent to DPW as issues.
Or Cory can just let us know when there's issues, whatever, related to, right? That could be
Yeah,
part of the
but not
agenda.
on the agenda, so we have to keep going.
Okay. So we're ready to go to the last item on infrastructure, East State Street follow-up.
Yeah, two things on this, I guess it's later down, but. Cory, you did say 2 meetings ago that DPW was gonna potentially respond to the memo we wrote, is that, any updates on that?
I don't have.
Okay. Should we leave it on the agenda or should we assume that means DPW will not respond? Up to us.
Yeah.
Understood.
I don't know.
Okay,
I'd recommend you go to
Other
the city
thing-
manager for that.
well, let's leave that on the agenda.
Yeah.
The other thing is. And you guys probably haven't been aware, but there was a survey done of East State Street. And many of the property owners. thought it was obviously wrong and have been communicating to the city that it was obviously wrong for a number of years. For example, the survey claims a public right of way that goes through a house that was built in 1885, the probability of which is zero-ish. So there's been a lot of communication, and my wife actually took an interest in this because it was just kind of a puzzle as to how this could be. So she did a bunch of research and found kind of overwhelming evidence that the survey was wrong. So it communicated that to the city. So I think relevant for our committee, you know, the original design was based on an assumption of a public right of way. So if we did want to go back, so if we don't know what the city's gonna do, but any reasonable manager of fiscal resources would redo the survey, because if they accept the current survey, property owners can sue for damages, and the damages would be very high, and the probability they would lose is very high. So given that they want to design the road, rebuild the road as is, it would be fireable offense if they didn't just redo the survey and put off the construction here. So I would think there's a high probability they will come back with a new survey at some point in the fall. So if we wanted to once again advocate, they consider the controversial action of connecting a school in a park with a sidewalk, I think we may have a chance to do that. I think we would likely be rejected again, but I think if you want to advocate for bike infrastructure, pet infrastructure, that another chance to do so. I think we should keep this on the agenda to see where it goes, but
Agree, and I want to circle back too, because this is related to the condition of sidewalks question, because to the earlier comment made by a member of the public that East State Street also now areas of that sidewalk are like a mess. I mean, I arrived back from travel and I was like, what hellscape is East State Street now? Because it's just like even what sidewalk did exist is so totally compromised. I don't understand. So I think that, I mean, I'm curious, Sally, you're sitting here, like, I'm curious to know, like, is city council already having a conversation about the issue that is where the placement of these poles is on the sidewalk and what it's doing to the accessibility of the sidewalk
Yeah,
for the
that-
public?
We haven't discussed it yet, but it's come up because my understanding was that we wanted to move them. This is from a discussion almost 2 years ago when I first got on the council about moving them away from the curb because the plows hit them, and then I was surprised to see them being put in next to the existing poles. So,
And what is,
but the project, I think is gonna be delayed till next summer. I can't imagine. I mean, it hasn't even been put up for bid yet.
but the project of the current poles is already an existing
yeah.
issue
Oh,
for users of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be on a future city council meeting to discuss that?
I haven't seen it, but I mean, the whole survey issue is gonna be on the agenda one of these. I don't know if it's next meeting or the meeting after, but
But in the event those poles have to get moved, Green Mountain Power should be told not to transfer the utilities to the new poles. But yet, pending resolution of this
they
survey.
haven't done. Yeah.
Correct.
Why is it though that when a new telephone pole is put in, the old one
It's taken down.
isn't taken away?
What is, I asked the same,
I would assume they would move the wires and then take the old one down there.
But look around town
no, they did all of Bliss Street, they did all of our.
And put a new one
they left
up.
them all.
and like, to me, that should be one of the requirements that you take away your. Right.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
So
Keep trying to leave 'em.
just leave it.
Well,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's disgusting. It
So-
looks ugly.
So we're in agreement as a committee to leave this on the agenda.
Yeah.
And, David, I definitely, I definitely raise my hand any chance. If I'm in town, I will definitely be someone who's willing to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I think
Or- Yeah,
we shouldn't pass up the opportunity just to remind the city council that they
no,
decided not to connect a school in a park with a sidewalk that 99% of the town was in favor of in reference to a very small number of elderly landowners.
Where is that?
East State Street.
East State Street, if you stay in Maine where Bohemian is, if you go up the hill towards the college on East State Street. The sidewalk is on both sides until you get to Hubbard.
Oh, right there, okay,
And
yeah.
the sidewalk ends, so children cross the street.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the block, on a vertical curve, children cross the street again.
Yeah.
Which is a very dangerous intersection. And so the city owns a lot of the right of way. Kind of in a no man's land area. That they could, for a fairly low cost. Build a sidewalk, or they could remove parking and build the sidewalk for free. And the city council decided to neither.
And they just put a new pole right where a sidewalk would need to go on the north side of, so this.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to call halt to that Green Mountain Power project.
That is all from me on East State Street.
So it sounds like you are going to attend city council and we're gonna leave this on the agenda.
If I'm here, where's the?
Well, if I hear anything on the survey, I will communicate out.
Yeah.
And I'll try to keep an eye on.
David and I will meet at the Wayside, that's our, where we put our heads together for. Planning for city, we also do have to talk about the annual report to city council, which is in the next.
Yeah.
Next part, but let's keep
Move
going.
it right along.
Well, are we done infrastructure? Can we move on to
Yes.
admin?
Yes.
All right. What time is it? 6:35. Okay,
Plenty of time.
so Nolan, your term ends this month.
I decided not to, even listen.
Isaac, there's even more space now.
I mean.
Yeah.
Alright.
You need to apply, we'll send you the information. Nolan, I'm sorry to see you go.
Thank you.
Are you gonna stay on your other committees?
I am.
Good.
Thank you, briefly. You're welcome. Sure.
Nolan has offered very valuable perspective from a lived experience to this committee, so we appreciate you.
We'll get you a committee watch.
Yeah,
Party
yeah,
night.
you were starting to, okay.
Okay, next item is you, David.
Oh, so this was an item that Nancy asked me to put on. Which was the, what exactly are the city council's responsibilities, and there is a link. To the document that enumerates them, and I thought Nancy, you had some follow-up questions on that.
I mean, I didn't read the document word for word, but I skimmed it and I'm like. It was a word salad. I mean, you know, I just want a bulleted list of, this is what, now it's Sal, but whoever our city council rep. Does or is responsible for, and this is what we do, you know, what's our part of the relationship. So. You know, it's a relatively new thing to have anyone from the city council come to our meetings, just you.
It's still this is still a draft document.
Okay.
Nancy, so it's good that you're discussing this now. I have. Are people looking at page 3?
I'm trying to pull it up now.
I was trying on there, but it's.
Yeah, I'm thinking for future meetings, we should probably have handouts of what the attachments are to, would that help people?
It's not, well, I got.
Would that help everybody?
Yeah, it's a doc, it's not a printed out document.
So if for those of us who are there and others who don't have it can share along with the screen if you like.
Yeah, this section 2 conflates the duties of the council as a whole and the liaison as an individual. There's the first part is the staff role, talks about the staff role, so that'd be Corey's role, for example, on this committee. The second part talks about the city council role, and that's where it confuses, it mixes the role of the council as a whole and the liaison. Of the six items that are listed. The overall council would be responsible for number 3, the oversight and appointment. Of members of the committee. Which council does for all committees. And number 6, decision-making, making final policy and budget decisions based on committee input. The one that is up for grabs is the one we talked about last meeting, item 2, ensuring that the committee activities remain aligned with council priorities outlined in the strategic plan. So that's where there was some issue about the council you know, deciding what your agenda is for, instead of vice versa, and so that. Again, it's draft language, and I think it's, you know, needs to be stated in another way. The council liaison would be responsible for, number one, facilitate communication between the committee and the council, and number five, service communication link from the council.
So you're saying 1, 2, and 5 are staying? And the others are
I
going
think-
away?
Well, no, they're all staying, they're just gonna be reorganized, right now, they're mixed, it sounds like, it says council liaison shall do those 6 items, but obviously 3 of them. Are not things that an individual liaisons can do, I'm not gonna appoint the next committee member, that's a council function, I'm not gonna approve the budget. That's a council function,
And who wrote this, Kelly?
I don't know who made these,
Much older.
How are we supposed to provide comment
Well, I
on
think
this?
if. Nancy, it seemed that you wanted a bullet point that said the liaison shall attend the meetings.
Well, I know, I just wanted clarity. I
Okay,
wanted to know, what we can expect from the liaison and what we're expected to provide the liaison, that's all. And, you know, a bulleted list, I think is easier to understand than paragraphs of text that go on and on. It's like, what the hell is that saying?
But I think it's also important to capture in our minutes that there's certain items that we want the liaison to
So,
take
so I,
back to the council
I guess
and
what makes the
identify.
most sense is for us to be able to comment on a final draft. So that we can say, well, wait a minute, what about this? Rather than, you know, with something that's still a work in progress. It feels like we might be asking prematurely, I don't know.
well, I mean, it is still in draft stage, I don't know where it is, I'll have to ask. her.
But would we have the opportunity to comment at the point where, okay, this is it, it's, you know, here's your last chance to speak up.
Yeah, I'll make a point, make sure that you do have an opportunity to comment before it goes. You know,
Into-
to a final reading, yeah.
Whatever.
So you'll send us that draft before it's.
Yeah, I'll check on the
I
status
don't
of
know
the
that
draft.
we need to
make
see
sure that
every
looks good,
iteration.
Yeah.
And make sure that your comments.
Next one, I think we can.
We already took care
We
of
already did that,
Yeah.
so
By the way, the draft is, the link in the agenda is the draft. So you already have that.
I didn't know if we were invited to make a comment there or
Officially invite you.
not. Okay, thank you.
Okay. It sounds like, did we already cover that we had not?
Yes.
Yes.
No, the follow-up with Alec and Kasha.
I have not done that,
That's
I
what
will
I
add
thought.
that to my list.
Okay, so that'll stay on. And then now, signing on our annual reporting to city council.
Yeah.
And Corey said that should be in the spring before, when review, I mean, it sounds like it's something we need to.
I think in the past I've usually done it in June, and so it's just a matter of choosing the date and asking to be on the agenda. I'm also curious how I'd like to know how, I've not seen another committee present an annual report to the city council. I don't know how frequently it happens.
That's part of the flux of this
Really?
An oral report.
Yeah, or whatever, you know, like I've done before, I just
Right.
don't know anybody else's
And-
examples to know how we're comparing. I'm interested in benchmarking because I'm interested at who gets money and who doesn't get money, and what do they communicate in order to have a better chance at funding. So I am trying to do a little homework here also to understand where we might be falling short in what we typically present. So, yeah, I think we just need to find the date and make the ask of when we can be on the agenda.
All the committees I have ever been on have never done a regular annual presentation.
All of them are gonna start to, that's part of this process, they're.
Yeah, there's a specific date, and I don't.
This is where we got left off because of the process and understanding. Is there gonna be a process and we'll be assigned a time that we should come?
Well, there's a specific date for when, in terms of the budget. When committee budget requests are due
Yeah.
during the budget process.
Right.
So,
But aside from that, the last time we talked about this, there was going to begin to have a process of all of the committees reporting at different times or
That's right.
throughout the year, and we don't know what that is yet, but we said we can just go ahead and present anyways. That was my understanding, so.
Yes, I think that did the best course. And the notion of all 20 something committees reporting orally at a meeting, to me is crazy. So we haven't yet worked that out. That's in this draft, like, that's required quarterly or something. And it's just, it's not doable. So there are a lot of things attached to that part that need to be ironed out.
But a written request to the city manager to get on the agenda for a report is binding and authorized in the charter. So you could pick,
Yeah, I'm just looking for the schedule to pick my date.
well, she and the mayor have ultimate discretion to move the dates, so we might want to pick several.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Second and fourth Wednesdays.
The second and fourth Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wanna steal anybody else's chance to sit up there, so if somebody else wants to do this, by all means.
We'll
Second and fourth
Wednesday.
Wednesdays. So the 10th and the 24th are the next upcoming ones,
In July,
no, June.
one of those Kelly's not gonna be
Yeah,
at.
next week, Kelly. I think she returns with them.
She said she wasn't
Won't
gonna
be
be
at
at
that
this week, yeah.
So we should ask for either the,
The next one, or the first of July.
yeah, I can't do the first one in July, but we can ask for June 24th. And I think my only ask is I'll reach out to the committee for your thoughts on what you would like to have included, unless you say to me how I would like the next meeting to consider that together as a committee, in which case we would ask for a July date.
Let's, I think it's be better if we email you
Okay,
individually,
Yeah.
otherwise we would take up half the meeting.
Yeah,
okay, great.
I already think something.
Now, I'll just add that I don't think our not getting money has anything to do with you.
John's my biggest champion.
No.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I just, I want us to have the best possible chance at getting heard, because I have to say my cortisol levels have been up ever since Katie from Montpelier Alive sent this note around about the bike racks, because I'm like, oh, now that Montpelier Alive says it, it'll get done.
No, it's the red hen. I told you it's the red hen.
It's the red hen. Okay,
If it's a business, it gets the attention of Montpelier Alive.
okay.
If it's a complete streets committee, not really.
Oh, we just found that today, I don't think I saw that.
I can forward that to you.
Okay. You're doing a great job.
Well, we're actually moving through the
Yes.
agenda,
Almost
so
done.
we're gonna send you things that we wanna have on that annual.
I'll, yeah, I'll.
so reach
get
out now,
artists listening back. Yep.
I was just gonna say, I think it'd be really eye-opening to have some photos of
Yes.
all the bikes lined up in front of somebody. Showed a
Stan
photo.
Brinkerhoff
Yeah, that was a
sent
great photo,
of the bikes.
and they weren't using the bike racks.
I have
They
an
were-
email drafted to
So-
Stan and Steven and different folks who have shared different photos.
Right,
with
so
me
maybe
over
that's
time
something-
To ask for permission to use them in the presentation, to make sure that this year's presentation is very visually.
Right, and
compelling.
maybe that's something we can all think about, is really good photos to send for that. Okay, so, is there any update on TAC and the Complete Streets Committee merging, recirculate a refresher? I don't.
I think that's part of the previous conversation.
Yeah.
But I would just recommend, and maybe this rolls into the report. I really think, and Kelly mentioned it at the last meeting, I thought it was a good point. I really think you guys should consider redrafting your charge or your mission statement. Because I think this is what, the second meeting in a row. I think you've spent like the first hour talking about infrastructure. And events and advocacy, which is actually the actual charge of the committee, gets skipped over. So if that's you guys want to keep going on that path, I would really urge you to at least dust off the charge and look at it and make sure it's still what you want. So,
Do you think it's timely for us to include the tax current role, or is it safe to assume the tax is
The
gone?
text extension.
So we would have permission to
I would
If we're up for doing that,
roll in whatever,
no one's objecting.
I would approach it as if you are the only transportation committee,
I see.
active transportation.
Sorry.
Okay,
We should add that to next month to at least assign someone that task.
Cause I think you're gonna
To-
have the
to do a
opportunity,
draft.
you're gonna have the opportunity to draft it, or it'll be drafted for you.
Right.
Okay, so
Well, unless
So
someone
we-
wants to volunteer.
that's what I was gonna say. I think it might help the process if someone wants to start a draft, someone with longer term here than me. Anyone wanna take that on? Even if it's just.
It has to do with-
I have my list.
Can't we see there must be a charge already for the TAC that we can look at?
Yeah, I think that's still.
Yeah, I could take it,
Yeah.
well, and if we have, I'm sure it's somewhere, but the current charter of this committee and the
Yep.
charter for TAC, like, happy to.
Right, and then combine them and.
What if you charge some other stuff while you're at it, Jim?
I think it's include capital budgeting for investments that you want to recommend.
Maybe the swimming pool?
Tell me the name, what is the
Skateboarding.
crosswalk plate, what is it called again?
Detectable warning service.
That's pretty funny. All right, so we're like gonna finish this agenda today. Update on the Burlington Bike Pedestrian Committee, your meeting.
I have what, no, no,
Oh, did the
No.
meeting not happen or the,
it didn't, no, I need to follow up with it.
okay, so we'll keep that on the agenda. And then DPW grant applications
Are there any out there
that, yeah, thank
that
you.
you're looking at that apply to us?
That we haven't applied for. Yeah,
Or that we should know about, that we could
Yeah.
apply for.
And I want to circle back to that, to this question of the survey, because David, you're like, that's a no-go zone. But I do recall thinking a survey would be a great idea when I first arrived on this committee, and I remember getting the same reaction of like, we don't need that. But I am wondering if
The survey for,
a survey, we did a survey as part of the bike friendly community and to hear from more people.
Oh.
And I wonder, like, I don't think it's all figured out, but I do think that we need something other than Front Porch Forum and the individual emails to be able to solicit feedback so that when we have a grant opportunity, we have compelling data to utilize.
I
in
would
it.
suggest the Montpelier Alive newsletter is read by thousands, I don't know, I think
To
that's.
promote it, but we have to decide if we're gonna have a mechanism
Capitalism.
and what questions that we would want to ask as a city or put something on our page on the website that we can drive people to.
Right.
That is a continuous way to gather
Like an
input.
incident report on the Parks Commission website, something like that. where-
Yes, but also have the ability to ask some specific questions
Yeah.
to get input on that were not part of the survey that the bike friendly community did.
Well, once upon a time, the city would do, Corey, at some point, the city did a survey of, like a general survey of residents, like in before
Still have this.
COVID.
This.
I remember getting a survey, like a general survey, but you remember that at all?
No, no.
Advocacy.
We used to have a part of our website had a survey.
No, this was a pen and paper
Oh,
survey, I just
that's-
happened to know the firm that did it,
Yeah.
you don't remember, okay.
That's the problem.
Okay, so
Anyway.
Holly, I would just suggest if,
what's the action item for surveys?
Well, the question is on grant applications, and this is an aside.
That's survey.
No, it's grant applications, and so are there,
I was just gonna say, I think as part, many municipalities do general surveys of their
Right.
population.
can we be part of?
As part, if
Yes.
Montpelier ever does that again, I think asking to include a question or two of interest to us would be the most effective way to
Yes,
do that.
okay. Anything on grants, Corey?
No, we have. I don't know how many, not grant, but FEMA flood projects that are being
Right,
bid or done right now, so. I think the only grant as far as transportation goes is the one that Montpelier Live may apply for, the downtown transportation fund next time around.
To do what?
It's not till, I think, January or December or something, but I think they do plan on applying for something.
Related to transportation.
Yeah, it's a transportation
So
fund.
do you want me to check with Katie on that?
that'd be great. I think we're learning our way with Montpelier Live. When we did the crosswalk painting last grant, I don't know how that will turn out, or if it's already been decided or not, but I think we're gaining traction in working together with Montpelier Live as a committee. So hopefully we can be that much more coordinated in the future.
3 more items.
One more
Okay,
item on that.
if it's like 10 seconds.
So I've learned that EPA brownfield money is eligible for use in market studies, so if the market study for Country Club Road is gonna get done, it should include multimodal transportation, which is exactly where this committee could plug in. Because the willingness, that intersection is gonna be constrained no matter what, and a willingness to buy a home and live in a home and rely primarily on multimodal transportation off of Route 2 needs to be part of the market study, and there's a funding source for it. The 1.2 million the Regional Planning Commission has for the whole region.
Okay,
Okay, got it.
e-bike. That's,
You're skipping over events.
I just wanna say,
Oh,
if people want me
sorry.
to pursue having the speaker, to come speak on parking,
what about parking?
At a meeting?
no, to the city,
I would, Katie Trouts
yeah.
asked about that, so I think she would probably be interested in.
Vetting it as a,
No, I think she would be interested in something that could potentially educate business owners as to the overwhelming evidence that they are wrong about a lot of things that have to do with bike lanes and sidewalks and
Okay.
parking.
so I should talk to Katie.
She had asked in the part of the East State Street fiasco that she thought that would be helpful. So
Okay. Great.
I think she would be interested in maybe convening that with you.
I note that parking is a lightning rod. And
That's right.
I don't wanna drag the committee into something you didn't sign up for.
No, drag us.
Okay,
And use the quote, drivers drive, pedestrians shop.
um,
I was gonna say that this being, as much as intentional as it can be, like, be part of the larger bike and parking, bike parking, car parking. There's a lot of moving parts,
Mhm.
and I think it can be an important piece of it, so just kind of make it all.
integrated.
And I was also, the Montpelier Business Group has their meeting the first Wednesday of every month. 8:30 in the morning, that might be a good.
That was like, oh, big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Of
first
course it's
Wednesday.
open. It used to be open,
I know, but they decided they don't like,
interesting,
they're talking about homeless people with vicious.
Okay,
Back to the agenda.
we were on the agenda, all right, so now we're on to.
Advocacy.
And are people okay with finishing the agenda, even if it
Yes.
goes a little past 7? Okay. E-bike statute with T, bikes on sidewalks, do we have any updates? On that,
no update. Corey was gonna find us some research. Okay,
so that stays on the agenda for next time?
go ahead, John.
I know we're gonna have a new police.
Yes.
So.
Although the mic is staying,
Mike
Oh,
Philbrook
we're
is still
staying.
there.
yes. It's not.
He's the one
Maybe
who was.
that'll be our police chief.
Right, I love my,
So. I know, but I guess whenever we say, okay, let's just keep it on the agenda. For the next month.
Well, Corey still owes us an update. Next time.
I could tell you the update I have is talking to police. It's a statute that they currently don't have the capacity to enforce. And it will need legal advice, which goes to the city manager's office. So I can work with the city manager's office to get that.
Yeah, I think we just were hoping to see a template for maybe another community or suggested language. I mean, Mike turned to us for it. But we're not gonna pull it out of full cloth, we need something to base it on.
So,
I thought one of the issues was the districts. had old names in the statute and now they have different names. so
It's
we needed to
updating
update.
it's updated.
Right, so it's updating the downtown
okay,
to
so that's
reflect,
Changing,
right, changing just
it's
the
just
language
a
of
changing the wording.
what current zoning uses for the downtown district. And who does that? Is that,
Planning commission.
no, but in terms of the statute,
It's not
On-
statute, it's an ordinance. It's a
in
city
terms of
ordinance.
the ordinance, that wouldn't be the planning commission.
Planning commission
Yes.
forwards it up as part of the city plan to the council for approval.
Okay, so at a minimum, that's something we need to update, Who wants to move that forward
So who's the chair?
of the planning commission.
Yeah.
Aaron Nisiki,
ERIN, Aaron?
no, AARON.
Do you want to update Erin with the current language and zoning for our downtown district? So
Well, I don't know what the language is, but if
This,
Aaron
Aaron
is
is the
going
person-
zoning.
we,
Yeah.
we
He's going with
we
zoning.
had it at the last meeting, I'm just trying to like figure out here what. Corey, what did you think you were going to research and bring back to us? Or were you asking us to come back?
No, I was going to consult with the PD.
Okay, which you did,
Yeah, and then we need, because the. PD thought that maybe the ordinance as written could still be enforced, but we needed. We wanted to get legal counsel on if it actually, if that's true or not.
but at the same time, MPD has told you that they have no capacity to enforce this.
Right, and I think when Mike was here, he mentioned that there is an existing. Public endangerment ordinance. That they can use. For that type of activity.
By capacity, he means personnel.
Yeah.
We don't have them.
Yeah,
So where does this leave us?
I thought Mike wanted something from us.
I thought so too.
When he came to our meeting, it seemed like he came here for a
Scott,
reason.
Scott, do you remember? I mean, you invited him last time. You're here.
Yeah, my recollection is that, he wanted us to let him, I think he put it back on us to look at the language in the statute, I think, which we did, right? And my recollection was that there was some way that we didn't need to actually change the statute. The last time we met, we talked slightly about that. Without looking at the minutes, I can't remember exactly what came up. But Corey, I remember you saying something about us not necessarily needing to change the statute, but that the wording could be slightly altered, in such a way that it wouldn't require like a massive rewriting.
Get rid of the phrase downtown business district.
Exactly.
And what is the current phrase?
well, that's where you'd have to
Central
look at
business,
zoning,
central-
right, central
Yeah.
business district.
This was. I thought, Corey, to find out how we get that changed.
Right, and the issue is that districts aren't the same, they don't overlap. In
Okay,
fact, the original one doesn't even include the capital district, it doesn't include, so it's a different boundary. So the question for the attorney is, okay, can we still enforce this even though it's a different boundary than what was approved
okay.
originally?
And so the to-do item here is to still for you to consult with the city's attorney or
Yeah, and that goes through the city manager's office. So I
Okay.
will-
that's the to-do item. To see if we can make this change, David.
Not to further belabor this, but I think there's two issues.
Yep.
Issue one is the central business district reference. Issue two is Mike Philbrick sent an email saying, while I've advised the riders involved, meaning aggressive e-bike riders on sidewalks, about the existing ordinance and asked them to ride with traffic in the roadway, as discussed, without a well-written effective ordinance with teeth, there is not much we can do beyond counseling. So that's why I originally wrote with teeth. I didn't know what exactly Officer Philbrick meant by that, but I took it to mean something that was more effective than counseling them not to do that.
So maybe
That's
that's what we need to do next is have a follow-up conversation with him. To find out
We
what
just
would
have to
be
write it. We have to write
Okay.
what we think it needs to say, I
for
think,
teeth.
I have
right?
a question.
Yeah,
What is people riding e-bike on the sidewalk?
oh, it's not just e-bikes, it's people on like motorized scooters and.
People riding like that.
In the
The
downtown,
downtown area?
just the downtown.
There's a small number of.
It's like homeless
sustained
people who are just like going around and like.
Well,
No.
they ride recklessly, it's endangering pedestrians, they ride too fast, they're on the sidewalk, they're adults, they should be in the streets.
But it's a small number of the same.
It's a couple people, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like some massive number of, yeah.
But the
Yeah, it's
police,
a nice
the
bike
police are telling us they don't have a mechanism to do anything about it. Except say, oh, would you please get in the street?
So who is researching the e-bike statute with teeth?
I did a little bit, but. But the planning commission is also revising its districts now, and that if you want a district to define. Downtown, the way for public safety and bike regulation, now would be a good time to weigh in with the planning commission.
I would suggest not including a district since it's got.
That's right. Just reference it by the roads, you don't need to own this, you can say the area bounded by road.
Okay.
Or just all the parking meter. that
Or where
in
the presence of the
downtown.
parking or so.
So who's interested in doing it?
But the last time I think you guys talked about it, there was no consensus on what it should actually be, so I don't know how you're gonna.
We have to
recommend it.
Scott, is this something that could research?
Yeah, I guess I can. Yep.
Thanks, Scott.
And I know this is a often discussed topic, but I think it's related to also the biking on sidewalks, right? That's like a big.
That's right.
Right. Not just
E-bike,
e-bikes,
e-bike or
right.
not, and I don't think we have consensus in this thing,
We don't.
about that.
Half of us think bikes should be on sidewalks when there's not a bike lane, the other half think bikes should always be on sidewalks, so if you wanna join the committee.
Yeah.
Pick a team, because
Yeah.
a blood feud.
That's.
Okay, are we ready to move on to the last item on the agenda?
Yes.
Sal's back for it.
Okay. Status of the Country Club Road development process.
Well, we just got the revised, proposals from DW and Schönberg yesterday afternoon.
From DPW being,
DEW.
DEW,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry. So I looked at it quickly, I don't know about that, and we're trying to get. Our calendars together to come up with a couple of meetings, one in June and one in July.
Subcommittee meetings?
Yeah, subcommittee meetings, but it would, the non-confidential parts of the proposals. Which is to say, I mean, it's the financial, some of the financials are confidential, I haven't seen those yet. But the rest of it is on the website, on the Country Club Road link, the budget link. So you can download those and look at those, and now would be a good time to comment on what you see there. And what's missing there. But I think the biggest role for this committee would be once the developers are selected and we get into market study and back and forth negotiation. Because what they've presented is a sort of outline of a plan that's gonna be refined in negotiation with the city. And I mean, you can certainly start now, but when that process happens, you'll want to be involved in those negotiations.
Well, I guess that
To
would
make
be,
sure the infrastructure meets,
Yeah.
standards that you want to set.
I'm thinking back to our conversation on the liaison between you as the city council. I mean, that would be really helpful. To keep us
Yeah,
abreast
sure.
of what are the points that we need to get involved, we need to review things.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, I would say review what's in the proposals and what you think is missing. And then as it progresses, there'll be other opportunities for you guys to weigh in on. Like, as Steve was mentioning, adding, elements to the market study that will inevitably be done. And to the, to the development agreement in terms of what will actually be built.
I know I'm tagged with this. Probably from Joan. I do just wanna, I'll just say this, we don't have to discuss it necessarily, but going back to the roles and responsibilities. I just want to make sure that. Like, when you say your committee should be involved in negotiations, and if one of us shows up. What is the vendor's responsibility to hear us as a
Yeah, I don't know what the process is gonna be.
credible source, right? Cause they'd be like, well, that was, that chick had that to say.
No, those are gonna be
But-
closed meetings, that's gonna be Mike Miller and a.
I don't know what that process will be, so when,
But when you say we should be involved in those negotiations, Sal. I don't wanna have a false expectation that we're like at the table when we're not going.
and I didn't say that.
Yeah.
You may not be across the table from a DEW representative, but your input should be on the table.
And you would be our voice for that,
Well,
based on the roles and responsibilities of the council liaison. And I mention this because I think coming from a city council member sounds different than coming from some chick on the Complete Streets Committee. So this is wrapped up in another agenda item. Of responsibility of the council representative to the committee, or the council liaison to the committee. Because the way it's written now would suggest that you would be channeling also that what we have to say in this committee. Up. Or to,
well, it just depends, I don't know how the negotiations will take place. It may be that there'll be a meeting of the planning commission and committee reps. Where everybody gets input, and then the planning commission takes those to the negotiation. It may occur that way, I don't know, I've never been through a negotiation like this. So, as that develops, we can come up with a strategy that makes, that where you think will be most effective.
okay,
It could go a couple of ways.
okay,
But at minimum, I think there'll be a chance for public comment in which we as a committee can
Yeah.
communicate as such. And
Yeah, I think it should be more than that, though, I mean, it should be the behind the scenes.
well, we are available.
Beforehand.
Yeah,
okay,
but I do think, Holly, throughout this, we should emphasize that. We think the city should proceed with the precedents of Montpelier motion. And the Vermont State Complete Streets statute
Statute.
as opposed to the precedent of East State Street.
yes. Agreed.
All right, well,
I move to adjourn.
everything,
A second,
meeting adjourned.
aye.
Aye.
That was.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Anyone opposed?
Good order.
Something on the
Good job.
negotiating team?
Good job.
If it gets
We never got to this